Hello, denizens of the internet. Former network executive reaction here with my better late than never thoughts on Rings of Power overall and the final episode in particular. Spoiler alert, I stopped commenting on this show after episode 2 and decided that I'd comment only after watching the rest. That gave me two things to dread: watching the final episode and writing this. Let me say at the outset that I did not want this show to fail, and to many of you it hasn't. But there is no getting away from the overwhelming consensus that unless they pull off a miracle in season 2, that this first season at least was a huge bomb for Amazon Productions. And my personal opinion is that this was a laughably bad, amateurishly executed series. Not just the show itself, but from the moment the first bits of promotion dropped. I'm not going to rehash what I've already documented, but Vanity Fair was not the first place one would start promoting a high fantasy production unless there was accompanying leather fashion accessories and Estee Lauder Harfoot makeup palettes, shampoo, and hair conditioner. And let's not get started on the panel of Tolkien fans and experts who did not write a single thing about the show when it started airing for some reason. I am really impressed with YouTube commentators who are very deep into the lore, and the clarity they brought to criticizing this production was astounding, to say the least. As a former network executive, I have a certain amount of empathy for the producers of any show because I know they don't want to make something bad, but R.I.P. was just not good on so many quantitative levels that I can't believe they didn't make adjustments as the dailies came in for review. Dailies are the footage shot that day and presented to people like the director, producer, and executive in charge of production, decision makers, to review. And for God's sakes, didn't Jennifer Salke, head of Amazon Studios, watch this disaster in the making cross her desk? Generally, a feature-length movie expects to shoot 3 minutes of usable footage each day, and I'm not referring to effects or action-laden movies where a 1-minute fight sequence could take a week or more to shoot. For reference, a 1-hour network TV show, which is about 44 minutes of total content, will shoot about 8 to 10 minutes a day, which is insane. You might not think that shooting only 3 minutes of usable footage is a lot of work, but let me tell you, it is. So, to summarize, where things are for me after season 1, we have a show with a lead we don't care about. Her motivation for which we care even less. Snotty, arrogant elves who wear way too much velvet. It looks like their kind will be wiped out and I don't care. Bickering dwarves with daddy issues, proto-hobbits who keep wandering for some reason and turn out not to be very nice, Numenor, the most boring tourist destination in the world, humans who can't get their act together, a mystery guy in a housecoat who looks a lot like Jeff Bridges playing the dude, and another mystery guy named Halbrand. Oh, and there are orcs. What would Lord of the Rings LARPing do without orcs? And the whole show is built on a succession of mystery boxes. Where is this Sauron guy that Galadriel is after? Is he hiding as a Booster Juice franchisee? How will the elves save their race from extinction? Can they sell their abandoned lands to condo developers? Who is the dude in the housecoat? And can he bowl? Who are those 3 weird druids searching for the dude in the housecoat who fell to earth in a ball of flame? And why wasn't he wearing a seatbelt? Can that blackened, evil-looking sword hilt at the very least be used with a cheese tray? Just before this last episode, we found out that the blackened sword was not a sword, but a key to an orc theme park that starts the massive water slide and opens the volcano ride featuring exploding lava rock and the always fun wall of flaming ash. We also had the orcs fight the humans, and the Numenorians, led by Galadriel, arrived just in time to fight the orcs before getting covered in volcano Dorito flavoring. So, after an interminably long 6 episodes where nothing happened, something finally happened in 7. that was so small in scale that it was hard to care about. And now we arrive at 8. Are you keeping count of the remaining mystery boxes, kids? Because I sure as hell am not. You see, the problem with using mystery boxes to keep audiences engaged is the following. 1. The mystery box might not be engaging enough to hold your interest at all, such as Galadriel's search for the disappeared Sauron. 2. A mystery, if dragged out too long, well, it becomes tedious, like who is the dude in the housecoat? 3. You've already guessed it right from the start, so it's no mystery at all, such as Halbrand being Sauron. And 4. The solution is a letdown, like finding out Halbrand is Sauron. In every case, whenever a writer has presented me with a mystery box in their script, I always tell them to crack it open right at the start and make the characters deal with the outcome. Searching for a lame mystery is not interesting to audiences. Dealing with shit is what's interesting, because then decisions have to be made. Wrong decisions take you places where you are forced to find alternative solutions. The ice troll thing in show 1 had an element of that, but it was also when we learned Galadriel was insufferable and a terrible main character. So, no points there. In episode 8, Halbrand is nursed back to health by the elves only to find out he's Sauron, dedicated to destroying Middle-earth. What an ingrate. I just hope he gave the elves a good Yelp score. As Halbrand, he helped the elves create the mithril rings, but there was no explanation how those rings solved the waning of the elves' dilemma, or how he had poisoned them to be able to control them later, but we know through lore that the elves made them separately, so they weren't connected to the other rings. Or how Galadriel's knife could be melted so easily, and wouldn't the blade have been made of steel or something strong? Didn't Celeborn take High School Metal Shop? And there are still 17 more rings to be made. We found out that the 3 hilariously, curiously dressed acolytes were some sort of demi-wraith's evil minion welcoming party. They assumed the dude in the housecoat was Sauron, which was a horribly amateurish diversion. See, it isn't Halbrand. Oh, yeah, it is. Except the dude turned out to be maybe Gandalf, though I have been told he didn't exist in this age. So why not just make him Dumbledore? What I didn't get was, how did the demi-wraiths not know this wasn't Sauron? Was their Sauron-dar that bad? So many questions with mystery boxes. Cut to the Númenóreans, who arrive at home, and the blinded Muriel finds out her father had died. So sad. Now we get back to the Sauron reveal. Galadriel and Halbrand have it out in the garden, where she accuses him of being an imposter. There is a dream sequence. She ends up in the pond soaking wet, and Halbrand / Sauron is gone. Isn't it just like the world's greatest evil to ghost the babe? Inexplicably, Galadriel just saunters back to the Elven Forge and says nothing about Halbrand being Sauron. Jesus Murphy. As soon as she came back to her senses, wouldn't she be running and screaming, "Halbrand is Sauron! Halbrand is Sauron!" Thankfully, we didn't see the humans and the bickering dwarves again. So we're left with Sauron heading home. Seeing him in his human form really diminished his future evil potential for me. Jackson's solution of making Sauron more of an idea was, I think, a better solution. The elves have 3 rings. So what? Durin has severe daddy issues. We don't care about Bronwyn or Arondir. I honestly don't know what's to carry over to season 2. There is still the matter of the 7 rings for the dwarves and the 9 rings for the humans. What's motivating them to make them? And what are they going to make them out of? What magical subterfuge will be used that will tie those rings together to the one ring? We know that the human dwarf rings cause them to become greedy and power hungry, but do you see what I did there? I am only anticipating these events because I have a vague notion about the lore. What the fuck is someone who knows nothing about this stuff going to anticipate? Nothing. This show has displayed a level of nonsense that was beyond shocking to me. with all the money spent on it, it still felt small in scale. I wasn't looking for a Helm's Deep experience, but come on. Worst of all we wanted was to be returned to Middle-earth, and in this regard, it failed. What a waste. Till next time, denizens. Be seeing you.